Today, I want to pull back the curtain on a situation that most of us have experienced, buying a car. What you may not realize is that some car salespeople use techniques rooted in hypnosis and suggestibility to steer you into making a purchase, often before you're fully ready or fully informed. These aren't magic tricks or sinister ploys, but rather subtle psychological techniques that play on your emotions, your natural decision-making process, and the inherent human need to feel in control. Hi, my name is Josh Kennedy. I'm an avid car fan, but I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist. And today I'm going to explain how these strategies work so that you can be more prepared the next time you step onto a car dealer's lot. As someone who understands the power of suggestibility in the subconscious mind, I want to show you how to recognize these tactics, break their influence, and make informed decisions when buying a car. So let's dive in. The Hypnotic Setup. Let's start with a basic principle behind hypnosis: suggestion. In hypnotherapy, I use suggestion as a tool to help clients access deeper parts of their subconscious mind and make positive changes. But in the wrong hands, suggestion can be used to manipulate and influence decisions that you might not otherwise make. When you walk into a car lot, you're stepping into an environment designed to disarm you. The cars are polished to perfection. The lighting is bright. The music in the background is upbeat. This isn't just ambiance. This is the first layer of suggestion. The environment is engineered to put you in a certain emotional state, one where you're more open to positive suggestion. After all, when you're feeling good, you're more likely to buy something. But this is just the beginning. One of the first things a salesperson will do is build rapport with you. This is a classic sales technique, but it's also a form of inducing suggestibility. By mirroring your behavior, being friendly, and finding common ground, they create a sense of trust. You start to feel comfortable with them, and that comfort lowers your defenses. Once rapport is established, they move on to something called a yes set. This is where the real hypnosis begins. They start asking you a series of simple questions that are simply designed to get you to say yes. Let me give you an example. Isn't this car beautiful? Can you see yourself driving this car? Wouldn't this look great in your driveway? These are easy, non-threatening questions, right? But every yes that you say, you're actually entering a state of deeper compliance. Your brain starts associating saying yes with feeling good. And before you know it, you're nodding along to much bigger questions like, would you like to sign the paperwork today? What's happening here is a psychological technique called the foot in the door phenomenon. By getting you to agree to small things, the salesperson is priming you to agree to larger things later. And because your mind is already conditioned to say yes, it becomes much harder to say no when it really matters. Another powerful technique that car salespeople use is the principle of authority. In hypnotherapy, I often take on the authoritative role to help guide clients through their process of change. People naturally trust those who seem to have expertise. Salespeople leverage this by presenting themselves as an expert in the room. Think about it. How often do we feel like we know enough about mechanical details or financial nuances of car buying to challenge a salesperson? Sometimes, but not often, right? This is something they use to their advantage. They may throw about technical jargon or financial terms that sound impressive, but are designed to overwhelm and confuse you, making you more likely to agree and defer to their expertise. Statements like, "This is the best deal you'll find this year," or "We've done a deep market analysis and this price can't be beat. Trust me, I've been in this business for 15 years. I know what I'm talking about." These lines aren't just casual conversation. They're designed to place a salesperson in a position of authority where you are less likely to question their advice. But here's the catch. Much like hypnosis, when you give someone else authority over your decisions, you're placing your trust in their hands, and their goal isn't always aligned with yours. Now let's talk about time pressure. This is where hypnosis gets kicked into high gear. And you've often heard lines like, "This offer's only good until the end of today," or "We've got another buyer interested, so you'll need to decide quickly." This tactic is all about creating a false sense of urgency. When you're under pressure, your brain moves out of a calm, rational state into one of stress. In a stress state, you're much more likely to make quick, emotional decisions rather than taking the time to think things through logically. In hypnotherapy, I create calm, focused states where clients can make decisions based on deep introspection. Car salespeople, on the other hand, try to force the opposite, a state of urgency where you feel like you don't have the luxury of thinking things through. They know that if you walk away from the lot, there's a good chance you'll rethink your decision and decide against it. So they push you to act fast before you have a chance to clear your head. This is a classic example of how suggestion works in hypnosis. Under the right conditions, with the right timing, the suggestion can bypass your logical mind and go straight to your emotions, pushing you to act on impulse. Another powerful tactic is the illusion of scarcity. You've probably heard lines like, "We only have one of these models left," or "This color's in high demand and we're almost out." The illusion of scarcity taps into a primal part of the human brain that fears missing out. In hypnosis, we can create positive change by accessing deep emotional states. In car sales, they use these emotional states to push you into buying now rather than later. When you're told that something is rare and in short supply, your natural response is to act quickly so you don't miss out. But here's the thing. Scarcity in the car industry is often manufactured. There may be plenty of cars available, but the salesperson is using this tactic to create a sense of urgency that compels you to act. Next, let's talk about numbers, specifically how numbers are used to anchor your expectations. In hypnosis, we use anchoring to link a stimulus with a particular response. In car sales, anchoring is used to set a baseline for what you think is a good deal. For example, a salesperson might start by showing you a car that's way out of your price range. You're shocked by the high number, but that's part of the plan. Once that large number is in your mind, everything else they show you feels like a bargain by comparison. This is called price anchoring. Even when the car you choose ends up being more expensive than what you initially wanted to spend, it feels like a deal because it's anchored to that first higher price. How to defend yourself. Now that we've begun pulling back the curtain on these tactics, how do you protect yourself from falling into these traps? First, be aware of the techniques. Simply knowing that these strategies exist is half the battle. When you recognize a salesperson is trying to build a yes set or create urgency, you can take a step back and regain control of the situation. Number 2, take your time. Never let anyone rush you. If you feel pressure to make a decision immediately, that is your cue to slow down. Walk away if you need to and give yourself time to think things through without external pressure. Number 3, do your homework. Knowledge is power. If you go into a dealership armed with research, you'll be less susceptible to authority tactics and price anchoring. Know what a fair price is and the car you're interested in and stick to your budget. Number 4, ask questions. Challenge the salesperson's authority by asking direct, informed questions. If they claim there's scarcity, ask to see proof. If they use time pressure, politely tell them that you'll be taking your time. This puts you back in the driver's seat. Number 5, stay connected to your intentions. Before you even step onto the car lot, remind yourself of your true intentions. Are you here to buy today, or are you just gathering information? If you start feeling pressured or swayed by the salesperson, ground yourself by revisiting those original goals. That will help you stay in control of the process. And number 6, bring a friend or an advocate. Sometimes having someone there with you can act as a safeguard and a buffer. A friend or family member who knows your intentions can help you resist sales tactics and keep you focused on making the right decision. They can also be an extra set of eyes and ears and may even spot things that you might miss in the heat of the moment. How salespeople use language to create suggestibility. Let's dive a little deeper into how salespeople use language itself to increase suggestibility. As a clinical hypnotherapist, I'm aware that language can have a powerful effect on the subconscious mind. Certain phrases, word choices, and sentence structures are used by car salespeople to bypass your critical thinking and engage your emotions. Number 1, presuppositions. This is when a salesperson asks a question that contains an assumption. For example, when you take this car home, what's the first thing you'll do with it? The question itself assumes that you're going to buy the car. It skips over whether or not you're ready to make the purchase and subtly pushes you into the mindset that this is already a done deal. By answering, you are unconsciously agreeing to the premise that this car is yours. Number 2, double binds. A double bind is when a salesperson gives you two choices, both of which lead to the same outcome. For example, would you like to finance over 36 months or 48 months? Notice how the question makes it seem like the only decision left is deciding on the financing, not whether or not you want to buy the car at all. By limiting the option, the salesperson nudges you towards the outcome they want while making you feel like you're still in control. Number 3, the illusion of choice. Similar to a double bind, salespeople will often give you a set of choices that seem like options but are still designed to funnel you towards a sale. For example, do you want the base model or the sport model? Again, this question frames its choice as to which car rather than do I want to buy this car at all? It creates an illusion that you're making a choice, when in reality both paths lead to the same result, you spending money. Number 4, embedded commands. This is a subtle technique where a salesperson will include commands in their sentences to influence your subconscious. For instance, they may say, as you imagine yourself driving this car, you can feel how comfortable the seats are, right? The embedded command here is, imagine yourself driving this car, which subtly plants the idea that this car is already yours. By leading you to mentally picture yourself in the car, they're getting you emotionally invested before you've even made a logical decision. And number 5, limiting critical thinking. Salespeople might also use distracting language or filler conversation to keep you from fully processing the numbers and the details of the sale. For example, while discussing the price or financing, they may talk about unrelated topics like the weather or your weekend plans. This divided attention makes it harder for your critical mind to engage fully with the details, allowing them to slip terms in that you may not fully understand or agree with. Staying grounded amidst the noise. Now that you know some of the specific language techniques that salespeople use, let's talk about how to stay grounded in the middle of all this. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of buying a new car. The shiny exterior, the test drive, the compliments from the salesperson, it's all part of the experience. But staying grounded means that you're staying connected to your logical mind even when emotions are high. Here's how to do that. Number 1, take regular pauses. Throughout the process, make it a point to pause and breathe. Whether you're reviewing numbers or considering an offer, take a moment to step back. Even just 10 seconds of deep breathing can help you regain mental clarity and prevent you from making an impulsive decision. Number 2, write things down. Don't rely solely on what the salesperson tells you verbally. Ask for everything in writing and take the time to read it carefully. Better yet, bring a notepad and jot down key points of conversation as it happens. This gives you something tangible to refer back to when the pressure is on, and it also slows the pace down, giving you time to think. Number 3, set boundaries. Don't be afraid to set clear boundaries with the salesperson. If they're pushing too hard or using tactics that make you uncomfortable, let them know. Say something simple as, I need more time to think this through, or I don't make big decisions without sleeping on it. That can help you take back control. Boundaries are powerful ways to resist high-pressure tactics, and a good salesperson will respect them. And number 4, check in with your body. Pay attention to how your body feels during the buying process. Are you feeling tense? Is your heart racing? These physical cues can be indicators that you're being rushed or pressured into a decision. If you notice these signs, take a step back and assess whether you're still in control of your decision making. The ethical side of sales. It's important to note that not all car salespeople are using these techniques in a deceptive way. Many salespeople are genuinely trying to help you find the right car, and they may use some of these tactics simply because that's what they were trained to do. The line between persuasion and manipulation can sometimes be a very fine one, and not every salesperson is out to take advantage of you. That said, understanding these techniques will give you the power to spot when things are moving from helpful persuasion into manipulation. And when that happens, you have the tools to step back and be sure that you're making the decisions based on your own best interest and not someone else's agenda. Buying a new car can be an exciting experience, but it's one of the biggest financial decisions that many of us will make. By understanding the ways in which salespeople use suggestibility and subtle hypnotic techniques, you can arm yourself with the knowledge that you need to stay in control of the process. The key takeaway is this: always remember that you're in the driver's seat, both literally and metaphorically. Salespeople may use tactics to sway your decision, but ultimately the choice is yours. Take your time, stay informed, and don't let anyone rush you into a decision that you're not ready to make. So if you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to my channel and sharing it with someone who could benefit from the information. And remember, when it comes to buying a car, stay awake, stay aware, and always trust yourself. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.